What's cracking, y'all? We back. It's your boy Hero with the homie D-Mac, aka the Realmackism. We back with another episode of the Hip Hop Heroes podcast. You heard? So it looks like, to me, I'm just gonna get right to it. With the Like That record, that we got basically like a brewing civil war on the horizon, basically, because it seems like mad artists. You notice like Ross and like mad artists is like basically showing that they not fucking with Drake no more. Like,
can I just say this?
What's up?
I absolutely love it. In terms of, I'm hoping it's going to bring back that competitiveness that has been gone for quite a long time.
I mean,
I doubt it, but I'm hoping.
Every time Kendrick drops a record and he basically like calls some other competitive MCs out, it gets people basically ready to drop their best work the next time, basically. So we talking about a landscape where, on a mainstream level, a lot of the veterans have been going independent. You know what I'm saying? The ones from like the 2000s. Ross and Meek dropped an independent collab album not long ago. Nas is independent as of the last several projects. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of artists are independent now, as far as older legacy artists, and then as far as current generation artists, like even Playboi Carti, who's like the hottest rapper of the current generation, is only on like the cusp of mainstream. Like he doesn't go platinum. You know what I'm saying? So we're looking at a landscape where you don't have a lot of mainstream acts that are super competitive lyrically. Like you got non-competitive lyricists in the current generation, and you got competitive lyricists in the older generation that aren't on the forefront of hip hop in terms of visibility. So it's up to Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake to be like, yo, we not friends. We are friends, but we not friends like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, we still going for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think we should hop right into it, you know? So overall, what did you think about the verse?
So when it comes to Kendrick feature verses, there's a track record where he likes to be animated. It's in his style, and he'll dip into this style where he's got the creative ad-libs, and he's got the creative flows, and the delivery is super energetic. But on a technical writing level, this verse is entertaining, but it's not like great to me. It's a good verse.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's a good verse, but it's not a great verse lyrically.
Agreed.
If he wasn't name dropping first person shooter and, you know what I'm saying, motherfuck the big three, it's just big me. Like, that's not really a crazy bar in and of itself on paper. It's just the fact that he's willing to say it. It's the fact that he's like, yo, I see y'all over there buddying up on stage every tour, Cole and Drake. You know what I'm saying? Giving each other flowers, which is all cool and all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to legends getting their flowers. But when it comes to us three, we not a group, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we not friends like that. He
said it. I want the throne.
I want the smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's dope. And I like it. And the record's dope. You know what I'm saying? And Future's album is good. But like, you know, on a scale of like skill level, Kendrick could have come a little bit better on a competitive technical level, but he don't really have to if he's just getting like, he's just sparking the fire.
Exactly.
He's just like, yo, this is to get you started. If you respond, then I got something for you.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of takes me back to, you know, the Control version.
Right, obviously.
He kind of set he laid down the chess pieces and told everybody, come at me if you will, but just so y'all know, I'm the guy right now.
Right. Nah, real talk.
I want y'all to step it up.
Real talk. And basically, not unlike the Control verse, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, most people online and in general in the media and whatnot have been talking about the fact that, you know, Drake's got X amount of time to respond, and are we going to get a response, and did he diss Cole? And so here's my thing when it comes to who he who he's really going at. 90% of the verse is aimed at Drake, obviously. Or 90% of the disrespect is aimed at Drake. Cole, he pretty much just corrected on the big three.
Exactly.
He was just like, yo, we the big three like we started the league? No. I'm the big, it's big me. That's it. It stops there. And it's like, him and Cole been friends hella close for 15 years. So I don't really expect them to go at war. I see Cole responding.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't see him full disrespect.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because Cole has been on his nice guy-ish for his whole career. You know what I mean? So with Drake, on the other hand, don't get it twisted. Yo, I see a lot of people talking about oh man, Drake he ain't really battle tested like that against high level rappers. Okay, yeah, he punked Meek, and okay, but look what Pusha T did to him. His last battle being Pusha T has got people messed up about Drake. I'm gonna keep it a stat. Just because
I was about to say, further that away.
Yeah, just because Drake took an L, and he did take an L. I'm sorry, OVO Goons, he took an L to Pusha T, does not mean that he can't come at anybody in the mainstream and hold his own. He served. He handed Common his ass. He responded to Joe Budden. You know what I'm saying? And he won against Meek, who was a battle rapper before he was in the game, before he was in the industry. And it's Drake is not intimidated to the point where he won't go back at somebody. So I have no doubt personally that Drake will respond to Kendrick. He will respond. He probably got 34 bars for Kendrick, coming. And I'm keeping it stacked. That's my prediction. We'll see. We'll see how this ages.
Here's the main question I asked. Did he work on that pen work even harder this time?
Who, Drizzy?
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious to see. Because don't get it twisted. Drake's pen work is very good. But I think this time, this is really going to test him a little bit more.
He's going up against a top.
He's going up against somebody who's renowned for their pen work.
Right.
So, I'm very curious to hear Drake's response, but yeah, that pen work got to be nice, man.
And speaking of the big three though, for all our listeners, for all our subscribers, and for anyone tuning in, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna take a lot of opportunities for you guys to get to know, our perspective on not just each topic per episode, but pretty much how we view in terms of philosophically hip hop in general. For myself, I try to maintain a mantra of respect for all the legends. I really am a true student and fan of this, and it's there's really no room where I'm gonna tear down one to big up the other in terms of a lopsided take.
We don't keep it fair.
Yeah, Drake has Duppy Freestyle and Omerta and Tuscan Leather and 5 a.m. in Toronto. Drake is nice. He's been nice his whole career. Just because he dabbles in other lanes doesn't mean he's not nice. So it's I expect if they do respond to each other, it's going to be close. Lyrically. You know what I'm saying? And it's Jermaine will spit the craziest feature verse of the year contender every other month, but he won't diss somebody. And when you in a battle, it's not necessarily how technical you are. It's about how disrespectful you can be.
You gotta focus on the delivery.
You gotta focus on the energy and the delivery and how disrespectful you can be. I always maintain when you're talking about who won in a battle in hip hop. It's about who dug the deepest, whose disrespect was the strongest. That's why Story of Adidon won. Duppy Freestyle is technically, in terms of wordplay and literary device and that type of issue, it's on par. But what Push said, it didn't matter. So that's what happens here. And if I'm a bet man, Kendrick's got more dirt on Drake than Drake has on Kendrick. There's not a whole lot you can say about Kendrick. And that's really why, that'd be the only reason why Drake might not respond. Is if he doesn't think he has enough disrespect coming for Kendrick.
So I actually want to ask you about that point.
What's up?
In all honesty, do you think that Kendrick really sided with Metro and possibly Future? Because that's still like on the fence. Like, do they really got beef, or did Future just decide to side with Metro? But that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. But my point, real quick. Do you think he mainly sided with them to get a little more dirt on Drake? Because let's be real, this beef has gone on for a little while now. A lot of people, I'm surprised that they're new to it.
Yeah, Kendrick and Drake.
Exactly. So just a prediction or hypothesis, let me say it like that. I think he mainly sided with them too, just to kind of get a little more dirt.
In terms of like ammunition, like Future and Metro know some ish about Drake.
Exactly. Now again, that's a big hypothesis.
It's happened before,
but I wouldn't be surprised.
It's happened before. I mean, Kendrick doesn't really need like a Pusha T level like dirty secret.
Exactly.
He can just say what is visible to the masses about Drake, like or some of the narratives that's been said about Drake over the years in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that'd be good enough.
Right.
Combined with Kendrick's level of writing ability.
Oh, 100%.
But no, like, and then to take it back to like the big three conversation in general, like, where does that come from? Like, I hear a lot about when are we gonna get a new big three?
Ooh.
Who's gonna take over the mantle? Like, what makes Cole, Kendrick, and Drake the big three? You got Kanye fans trying to insert themselves in the conversation. Kanye himself just inserted himself in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? I think it was on IG. He's like, everybody knows I watched Kendrick on double parties in LA.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I watched Drake.
I did not like that. And I only didn't like that point from Kanye was because, let's be real here, Kendrick holds back a lot on feature verses. And he holds back especially for people he respects. So.
That and I mean, no, I agree. But also Kendrick, when he's rapping on Life of Pablo, it's like, well, actually, before I even get into that, but I do agree. Like, that's a whole conversation in terms of Kanye versus Kendrick on Life of Pablo because it's close.
Yeah,
Kanye's got like 74 bars, 78 bars on Life of Pablo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on No More Parties.
Yeah.
And Kendrick has got like 40 something, 50 bars. So Kanye got a good 20 something more bars on that song on No More Parties in LA. So I was listening to it the other day after he said it, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's close. But Kanye needed those extra bars, in my opinion. But no, but to take it back to the big three, it's like, where does that come from? And people talk about like, you know, who's the fourth or who could be replacing one of the three if they're not as big of a fan or they don't, you know what I mean, of a Cole or a Drake, and then they want to be like, no, it's really Kendrick. So, and here's my thing. Those three separated themselves early on. When they came into the game, first off, they were hand chosen.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get around the fact that Dr. Dre, Wayne, and Hov
all co-signed
Drake, Kendrick, and Cole.
Yep.
They didn't even just co-sign with a feature or with an interview nod. They signed them. They put resources behind them.
Mm-hmm. They basically let you know, hey, they're next.
Yeah, I'm crowning the kings of this generation. Yeah. So it's like when people wonder how that happened, it's not an accident. It didn't just come out of nowhere. And it's not even solely due to their ability, even though they had to earn it also.
Right.
Even though they had to earn it
also, another point I want to bring up, because, you know, I've had this conversation the past few days, like, you know, that what makes them the big three. Well, to me, it goes off eras. That's why Kanye was started inserting himself. I'm like,
that's
why you're the previous.
That's why I brought up Kanye. That's exactly why I said
so
that.
let's calm down.
Because Kanye and Kanye fans, for a lot of, you know, maybe because a good chunk of his fans skew younger. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to online discourse, and a lot of Kanye fans, you know, became Ye fans, you know, between like Yeezus, Life of Pablo, and the more recent projects. So they look at him as a very present 2010s artist.
Right.
But he's a legacy artist by that point.
Exactly.
He's a legacy artist by
Like he already had nothing else left to prove.
Nothing to prove.
By the time these three even started.
By the time they started, he literally had 5 classic albums already.
Exactly.
So,
but
rest easy.
By far, those 3 are the big 3 out of their era, which is the 2010.
2010 to whenever you want to, 2010 to now, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to touch on, because it's like, you don't get that by accident.
Mm-hmm.
They all have legendary careers, which is why I also brought up earlier. I was like, you're not going to catch me detracting from one to big up the other, because Drake has classics.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So far gone. You know what I'm saying?
Hell, you could even throw in Take Care.
Oh, no. Yeah, absolutely Take Care. Nothing was the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cole has 2014 Forest Hills Drive after his 2 classic mixtapes, The Warm Up and Friday Night Lights.
Hey, I'll even throw in Born Sinner.
You know what I'm saying? Kendrick, what are you going to say about Kendrick?
Mm-hmm.
You don't miss. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
hey,
not even just not miss.
All you got to say, only person to win a Pulitzer Award from an album.
Hey, I'm not as big on that take.
I feel it, but
it's true. It's a true statement. But
exactly.
That's not. Yeah. In terms of classic, you could have said like he basically dropped his best work. I would argue.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Before Damn. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So like whether it's Good Kid or To Pimp a Butterfly, Damn is great. Don't get me wrong. It's a masterpiece.
Oh
also,
yeah.
But, they were gonna give something to Pulitzer. They were late on that anyway, like the Grammys.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? That's
a whole different conversation.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that too, though, because it's like, yo.
Oh yeah. But a good question.
What's up?
Why hasn't there been another Big 3 since?
So check it out. One, it goes back to my earlier point about the fact that the Kingmakers have to pick somebody new. You know what I'm saying? Even J. Cole co-signing a Jid, or Kendrick co-signing a Baby King, or Drake co-signing whomever he's co-signing this month, because he jumps around all over the place.
Right now it's 4 bats.
So even with that, they don't have for lack of a better word, the prestige, the clout, the power. I'm not sure what it is. I know J. Cole has his own label. Kendrick just started PG Lang, but
it's gonna take some time.
Honestly. Yeah, it's gonna take time to build that up, and Drake's label has never really been the house for competitive hip hop.
Yeah.
So you don't have an era where classic dropping, competitive writing MCs are coming through and changing the landscape on a mainstream level. You got a lot of, like, I remember everybody was talking, not everybody, but a lot of people were saying Lil Baby was up next, and Lil Baby was like dominating the current, like in terms of like 2018 to 2022, around that time period. And I'm just like, bro, he got to drop a classic album.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't just flow his way into the conversation, bro. Everybody's like, his flow is so ill, bro. It's like, all right, he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do want to ask you this. If you had to pick who you think could become that next Big 3, who would you go with?
Nobody.
Really?
Nobody. And here's why I love that. I love this topic, because check it out. Drake, Kendrick, and Jermaine Cole don't have to go anywhere. Like, contrary to popular belief, not even popular belief, but contrary to like this conversation, Drake and Kendrick being megastars, they can literally drop every year or every 5 years, and it'll shatter the mainstream landscape every time. Like, J. Cole, the only reason why I left him out is because he's teetering on retirement. He's talking about how he might retire, but even if he does, he'll come back.
Oh yeah. Well, and let me expound on that question, because I'm not sure when he tweeted it, but the rapper IDK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he made that tweet. They need to retire. It's time for a new Big 3. Here's my problem with that statement.
The Big 3 need to retire and make way.
Yeah.
For the new year, something.
Here's my problem with that statement. One, let's be real here. It happens in any industry. If you want to become a part of, that GOAT talk, you either need to you need to take down the goats that are there right now, or B, you need to get co-signed from one of them. Overall, you need to go take the spot. So for that, IDK, I do love your music. I do. But if you really want to be in there, you need to go take one of them spots. Or
real
get
talk.
co-signed.
Real talk. And IDK, I'm not really super big on his music. I haven't really listened to much of his music, so I'm not going to speak on him too much. But I saw the tweet and I'm just like, man, bro.
Yeah, like I said.
It's not the energy we need.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say this. If he, takes his own advice and goes and tries to take that spot, I respect it. It's like, hey, you put your tweet into action. I can respect that. But I will say this. I think there are a couple that could become the next big three.
Who's that? Who you got?
Jid, of course.
Okay. He's slowly getting bigger every 6 months. Every time he drops an album, he's bigger than before. And he gets
better every album.
Jid is nice.
I'm going to sound like a stan. My guy Denzel Curry.
See, okay, I'm gonna pause you there because here's my thing. When you talk about Jid and Denzel,
what's up?
I see one of my favorite Twitter memes is people be like, "Yo, they've been up next since the Obama administration." It's like, bro, you can't. It's hard to say someone could be the next big three when they've been rapping for 10 years. Like Denzel been rapping since 2013.
Hey, look,
you know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And Jid is like 33,
which is crazy to say.
You know what I'm saying? No disrespect. Now I'm not ageist when it comes to hip hop, but like. I'm not ageist when it comes to hip hop, but like that window where you can become this current generation's leading artist, because that's another thing. Leadership is a big part of it. Kendrick leads. J. Cole leads. You know what I'm saying? Like when they see patterns of behavior in the landscape that they think could be elevated, they do something about it. Mm-hmm. They're not just here to make records. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick is out here talking about how what's up.
I will stop you right there for a quick second because to those two's credit, they did voice rap lost their competitiveness, so they tried to bring it back themselves. The just problem is, sadly, it's gonna take more than just them two for their era.
Right, and we're only talking mainstream because we're gonna have some moments where we break down the underground landscape, the independent scene, and there's mad competitive lyricists on the
100%.
Hip hop has never stopped being competitive. Hip hop has never stopped being street. Hip hop has never stopped being a contact sport. It's just different branches.
Yeah, exactly.
And some are more visible than others now. But we're gonna get into that. Yeah. But as far as the mainstream and as far as the last 10 years, I think we might not see a big three again.
Oh yeah.
And another reason why I say that is because there wasn't one before Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. Like people after Drake, Kendrick, and Cole became what a lot I saw in the media being referred to as the three-headed monster. People started going back in time and being like, okay, well, who's the three-headed monster of this era and this era and this era? There wasn't just three in the 2000s or the 90s or the 80s.
Oh yeah, there were multiple.
There was like more than that. So it wasn't just three leading that like separated themselves from everybody else. Like you can't put anybody else in the Kendrick, Cole, and Drake conversation on a mainstream level.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of quality and catalog, Future you can put up there, but he's not a competitive lyricist like they are. You know what I'm saying? In that traditional way. He can rap, don't get me wrong. Future's nice.
What do you think about Wale?
Wale's great, but again,
sadly, them three just separated.
They just separated. Like Wale is nice.
Now I will say this:
I want to smoke Wale.
Is he a part? Is he a part of that big five? In my opinion, yes.
Top. We start talking top five.
I know.
Yeah, we can definitely.
Yeah, that like I said, whole different conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I do definitely.
But they are what they are because it's a combination of mega superstardom or mega stardom.
Oh yeah.
Cultural impact in terms of classic albums and competitive lyrical ability.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then, staying power. So they separated in those three categories. What's up?
Back to that point about will there be a big three? Honestly, I don't see it for probably another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, the 2020s also got derailed.
Here's the problem. You know, Keen being Kendrick's protege.
Right.
I mean, he's got arguably the best guy in his corner. It's just the problem is we need to see more.
Yeah, and you can have legends co-sign you
Exactly.
and not, you know, match their legacy. Like, in regards to the big three, like, you know, just fascinates me is the fact that people want to basically look at the current landscape of the last 5 years and quote unquote rank them based on like who's the most active. Like, here's my thing. Drake drops a project every year. Cole and Kendrick have always been more traditional, being every other year, sometimes taking 2 years in between. The only reason Kendrick took 4 years in between Damn and Mr. Morale is A, the pandemic, and B, for those that aren't aware, he was in the process of renegotiating his contract with Universal Music Group. He's no longer Aftermath or obviously Top Dog. You know what I'm saying? TDE. So he went straight to the parent company of Aftermath, which is Universal Music Group, and renegotiate the contract directly with them. So he's most likely got his publishing rights and is probably going to see a bigger lion's share of his revenue and whatnot. And he wanted to make sure that was in place, I would imagine, before his next album dropped.
Which is smart.
So exactly. So he's not inactive.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The whole Kendrick Lamar retired, you know, memes was funny, but he's not inactive. But to take it back, it's like, yo, Drake drops every year. Kendrick and Cole were never really like that.
Yeah.
But just because Cole has been rapping every feature verse like his life depends on it, I'm seeing this like shift where people will be like, oh, Cole is top one now, or Cole surpassed Kendrick, or, you know.
Well, and to that, I'll also add, like, well, 2 things. One, I've always hated that Drake dropped almost every year. And it's only from an artistry standpoint. I feel it's kind of tough for me to really sit there and appreciate your stuff when you're already dropping the next one. That's just me, though. I can only speak for myself. My second point, Royce the 5'9" made a point where he said he feels that J. Cole is the hungriest out of them.
I saw that. I saw
yeah.
What do you call it? I saw like a thumbnail.
And to that point, I will actually agree with him just because you hear it in every single bar that he drops.
Sure.
Like, he's hungry.
From a writing standpoint,
yes.
Agreed.
But going back to the original point that Hero was making.
Yeah, it's like,
it's tough to really say that them two are above Kendrick all around because it's like, let's be real here. Any project that Kendrick has dropped has always been world renowned.
Bro, I'm gonna just keep it a stat.
What's up?
This applies to a lot of rappers, but you can't feature rap your way into being the king or top one or none of that. Like, that's a category, and being competitive it counts. That's a category. That's a factor. But the end result, the end goal is the body of work.
100%.
Kendrick could have retired a decade ago. Like, he could have almost a decade ago. He could have retired after To Pimp a Butterfly, to be honest. Like, and he would be ahead of these niggas, bro. Because they don't have an album as good as Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly. And then Damn is better than most Cole and Drake projects. I'm a fan of all 3. They're all legends. The level of density is just different. The level of space between them is just different. So you're not going to get, you know, to just bar your way into being higher than Kendrick in terms of greatness and resume overall, all time. Because Kendrick's he's released projects that are more important to the culture and to the landscape of the artistry of hip hop than Cole or Drake have. Like, it's just So that's the way I look at it. It's always like what we can look at on paper, what we can look back through history, through the veil of history, and be like, this is what happened factually.
Right. 100%.
So like when people in this recency bias, one thing I hate the most is recency bias, and people will be like, yo, well, Cole has been rapping better than Kendrick, and it's like, say it's late 2021, early 2022, you know, we haven't heard from Kendrick. Oh man, like, I just went through school and I haven't heard from Kendrick, you know what I mean, my whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't, you know, I done got married and had kids and I haven't heard from Kendrick since, you know what I mean? Like Kendrick is just like ghosted, and people are like, oh man, Cole and Drake, it's the big two. And then now retroactively people are like, oh, it's Kendrick clout chasing, or is Kendrick trying to insert himself back in the conversation because he needs to, because he's like up against the ropes and like creating this narrative like he's like on a losing team or on a losing battle. And it's like, bro,
I don't like,
Kendrick didn't have to say anything.
Well, crazy, no, too. I just don't get how you got to insert yourself into a conversation that you've always been number one in. That's crazy.
Literally. So like that narrative is hilarious to me. Yeah. I'm like, yo, Kendrick said a decade ago that he's nicer than all his friends. I got love for you niggas, but I'm trying to murder you niggas. So it's not a new conversation. And so that's funny to me, but it really ties into a lot of things because we've got a very unique decade laying out with the 2020s. The first 2-3 years, you know, after 2020 itself, everybody was holding back. Not everybody, but a lot of people were holding back their work because you couldn't tour. You know what I'm saying? Just last year into this year, we started to see tours and we started to see artists drop more frequently.
I mean, heck, you hear about Schoolboy Q's Blue Lips album.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Heck, 5 years. He didn't really start writing most of it until 2021.
Absol dropped last year. You know what I'm saying?
Which that album is so slept.
After Herbert.
Right.
That's a good project.
Oh my God.
He was barring the hell
exactly. But I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting for the 2020s because more so, especially with this situation going on with the big three, and you know this rap civil war. I think, and like I said earlier, I'm hoping that it revives that competitiveness that has been gone for a minute. Because more so, we're going to see guys choosing sides. And, you know, it's a crime still to this day to me that we never got the Cole Kendrick collab album.
Right.
I said it before that episode. I feel like that album does exist, and they just hit it.
They got enough records.
Exactly. But also, it's a crime we never got the Black Hippie.
The group album.
The Black Hippie album. It's a crime we never got the Black Hippie versus Dreamville.
They was talking about that.
Exactly.
What's that? Cause
and Reason. Which that
was probably just their idea, to be honest. Like the rest of the group.
I'm telling you, bro. I feel like it would have been phenomenal to get it. But at the same time, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I feel we should have gotten that I think would have helped with
the competition.
Yes.
Agreed.
But at the end of the day, you know, 2020s, man, I'm hoping that we get some good music.
No, for sure. And we've definitely got projects that are dope, like from legacy artists. And then we've got projects that are dope from, you know, current artists. But it's like that, you know, we always go back on this show to the Middle Child record that J. Cole dropped in 2019. Being dead in the middle of two generations. I'm little bro and big bro all at once. Just left the lab with young 21 Savage. I'm about to go and meet Jigga for lunch. Like, they represent that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call it, but that middle child generation, Cole, Kendrick, and Drake represent that. They bridge the gap.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why it's up to them to kind of steer the narrative and steer the ship. And it's like, I think you're right. I think it will start more competition. I know Ross gonna have some smoke for Drake. You saw Drake through
with his old baby mom.
Yeah. He was like, give me a picture up on Instagram.
Hey, look, I do just gotta say this. Don't shoot nobody.
Yeah, ain't nobody going. Nah.
Leave it with the bar.
Yeah.
That is all I'm saying. Don't shoot nobody.
Nah, we ain't doing that. No violence. But nah, bro, it's like Ross gonna have some bars from Drake.
Oh yeah. Which I will say this: people on that Everyday Hustle on the Metro Boomin Future.
Okay, yeah.
Look, people gotta stop sleeping on Ross's pen work. That is arguably the most underrated dude when it comes to penmanship.
Ross is legendary, bro.
Exactly.
Rose, not only is his catalog stacked, but his pen.
Hey.
I mean, I got Ross top 25, 30 all time.
Oh, hey. I'm with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Because people were so shocked on that record. I'm like, that ain't even his best. That's the crazy part. Like, hey.
And that's out of thousands of rappers that I've listened to.
Exactly.
So anybody Ross fans, they're like, what? You don't got him higher than 30? Hey, bro. The 80s and 90s is stacked.
Hey, so
not a lot of rappers after 2005 that's cracking my top 20.
Oh,
besides Kendrick and Drake and Ross, Rock Marciano, even though he go back to the 90s, he started dropping in 2010. But yeah, bro, so it's like, you know.
Any final statements?
As far as this whole situation, you know, the record's dope. Like that, it's dope. Check out the Future album. It's solid. Kendrick, he didn't have to do this. This is him leading. This is Kendrick being like, yo, y'all having fun or whatever. Y'all having a little too much fun over there because
it's time.
It's time. It's time, bro. I got all that emotional, introspective self-reflection off my chest with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Kendrick got to drop a very, very deeply personal album. And he's ready for the war. He's ready for smoke now. And that's what we need. You know what I mean? Because Cole and Drake weren't going to do it. And that leaves nobody else but Kendrick. So we should be thanking Kendrick. And hopefully we get some more bars from him. And hopefully we get some smoke from Drake. Cole, I see him playing the middle. But it's going to be dope either way. And if it splits mainstream hip-hop down the middle with a bunch of rappers on one side and a bunch of other rappers on the other, so be it.
All right. Other than that, hey, I'm happy to be back, my boy.
Yes, sir.
You know, we coming back, man.
Shout out to Hip Hop Heroes Podcast. Shout out to the subscribers, hit that like button.
Yes, sir. Oh, and final statement. We will definitely be putting these on more streaming platforms for y'all.
For sure. So look out for us everywhere you can stream
Till then.
podcasts. Peace.